Yes, it's the trusty Toyota Prado. We thought we'd test out the outgoing generation just one more time before the all-new model arrives very soon. This model is starting to look pretty old now, especially against the new model, which goes for a much more rugged and upright theme. Even so, it's still very practical, offering good approach and departure angles for off-roading, and a friendly and familiar design language. Here we're testing out the top-spec Kakadu model, which comes with all the fruit. This is the ideal model to trek around Australia. It's got big balloony all-terrain tyres, mounted on 19-inch wheels, and even fully adjustable suspension. This is a proper ladder frame style SUV featuring independent front and live axle rear suspension. Inside, it does look pretty old now. There are lots of physical buttons, which I find quite practical. But yeah, some of the design is pretty basic. Toyota did update the touchscreen not that long ago, but it's still well behind the rivals, especially if you stack it up against something like the Ford Everest. It doesn't come with a fully digital instrument cluster either, but again, some traditional fans might like that. The seating position is definitely perched up, giving you a great view around you. This doesn't feel like you're sitting in a crossover. Although it is pretty basic, long distance comfort is excellent. You've got big chairs and plenty of legroom and headroom, and that goes for the rear seat too. The floor is surprisingly high, but that's to allow good ground clearance. It just means your legs don't get to drop down as far as you might expect. But there's heaps of legroom anyway, and you've got full climate controls and charging ports available. This is a 7-seater, so you've got a third row of seats right at the back. They offer a reasonable amount of room, but it's not the most spacious in its class. Perfect for the kids anyway. And with all seats folded down, you've got heaps of boot space. As for the engine, it's the same 2.8 litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder as before. It produces 150 kilowatts and 500 newton meters. On its own, this engine is quite respectable. It provides decent shove low down in the rev range, and it's very smooth out on the highway. But this engine will pretty much carry over for the Australian spec next-gen Prado. It would have been nice if Toyota offered a V6 option to go up against the Everest. Being the fully spec'd Kakadu, this is the heaviest version available, so these 0 to 100 times are probably the weakest in the range. One of the best things about the Prado, in my opinion, is just how easy it is to drive, despite being a proper heavy-duty ladder frame SUV, or four-wheel drive more accurately. It's quite big, but it doesn't feel it. It just feels very easy. I think that's what's attracted a lot of families and things that just want to use this as a dependable but still rugged family SUV. This top spec version, the Kakadu, comes with adjustable air suspension. You can actually raise and lower the ride height with this button down here. There's a little symbol on the dash. I've just got it in the normal setting at the moment. Although that provides versatility, when you're going off-road you can raise it up even more. I think this suspension setup is actually better for ride comfort and handling as well. So we'll just attack these S-bends here. Obviously this vehicle is not designed for tackling corners at speed or higher speed than normal, but this is a 100 km/h speed zone and it handles fine. There's actually not much body roll at all. I can feel the tyres at folding a little bit, but that's to be expected when you've got big all-terrain tyres on it, but the actual body is remaining quite horizontal and flat. The ride comfort is pretty good. It is a little bit jittery over little bumps and corrugations and things, but I think it strikes a nice balance between comfort, heavy dutiness, and being able to go off-road and things. Lots of flex off-road actually. I did take this off-road a little bit, but I've taken previous models off-road quite extensively, and they handle really good off-road. They'll really go anywhere. This has got a locking center and rear differential as well, and low range of course. So if you get stuck in this, you know, you're probably in some pretty serious terrain and you're not likely to get through with any other rivals either. But yeah, coming back to that ride, so on the dirt roads and things, it's quite nice. It's just on little bumps and things on country roads like this, it's just a little bit jittery. I think if you filled it up with a family, it would probably squash it down a little bit more. In terms of the engine, look, it's very smooth and it's quiet, especially in this application where there's probably lots of sound deadening and things. It just hums along in the background. There's really no problem with the engine at all. I'm averaging 9.6 litres per 100 kilometres, which is not bad for a big SUV. Let's not forget this is a 2-ton SUV, 7-seater. I think 9.6 is pretty good. The performance is probably the main sort of letdown, and I wish Toyota would introduce even a detuned version of the 3.3 V6 diesel in the next gen Prado from the 300 series. I mean, get that engine, even if it has to be detuned a bit, and put it in this or the next gen model, just to give it a bit more torque and a bit more grunt, because this is it's pretty slow. Although I've tested it with the 150 kilowatt tune before, and the times aren't too bad, but it feels very lethargic to drive. And in that sense, again, it's very smooth and quiet, good for touring. But if you want to do some overtaking, I've got to slow down a bit and give it full throttle. That's full throttle. It picks up, okay, but it's definitely not throwing me back in my seat. So let's go out now and do the performance testing and see what it goes like.